The dawn breaks over a bustling cityscape in the American continent, where the light hits the glass towers and the humble rooftops with the same impartial intensity. In every corner of this world, from the high-stakes boardrooms of Europe to the quiet community centers in Latin America, a silent force is constantly at work, shaping the destiny of groups and individuals alike. It is the force of leadership. This force does not only reside in the hands of those with grand titles or those who command vast armies of employees. It exists in the small, quiet moments, in the volunteer who organizes a food drive, in the parent who guides a household through a storm of challenges, and in the person who stands up when a collective voice is needed. Every thought, every action, and every word spoken throughout a lifetime serves as a foundation, a silent preparation for the moment a person is called to lead. This journey is not a sudden leap, but a gradual unfolding, where the past and the present converge to define the quality of the guidance one provides. In the modern world, the cry for effective leadership is louder than ever, echoing through the corridors of power and the alleyways of local neighborhoods. Governments often find themselves adrift, struggling to find a focal point to lead their communities and even their own internal structures, sometimes failing to even see their mandates through to completion. In the corporate sphere, businesses of all sizes grapple with complexities and competitions so fierce that management teams often find themselves gasping for air, unable to deliver the results they so desperately seek. Even in the realm of sports, the search for consistency is an ongoing struggle, with coaches and trainers replaced like seasonal garments in a desperate attempt to find a winning formula. The public sector, too, faces a constant uphill battle, hampered by lack of funds and the immense weight of systems, educational and medical, that are stretched beyond their limits. When one thinks of a successful leader, a specific image often comes to mind. Perhaps it is a figure of global renown, a visionary who builds empires across the seas. But just as often, the true leaders are those closer to home, a manager who listens, a local coordinator who brings a neighborhood together, or even a partner who shares the burden of a difficult decision. Leadership is a universal language, spoken in many dialects, but sharing a common grammar of inspiration, organization, and motivation. The skills required to steer a multinational corporation are not so different from those needed to inspire a group of children or organize a community initiative. It is a craft that requires constant refining, an art that demands both strength and sensitivity. However, beneath the surface of every action taken by a leader lies a deeper, more fundamental question. What is the engine that drives them? Many people navigate their entire lives with an arsenal of tools they never fully utilize, possessing hidden strengths and advantages that remain dormant. At the same time, they often cling to weaknesses that act as anchors, preventing them from reaching the heights they are capable of achieving. To truly excel, one must step back and reflect on the person they wish to become and the legacy they hope to leave behind. The path to mastery begins with a profound inward look, an exploration of the self that transcends mere technique. It is about understanding the why before focusing on the how. As the narrative unfolds, it becomes clear that the world is waiting for those who are willing to transform themselves into the best leaders they can be. There is a vacancy for excellence in every field, from technology startups to philanthropic institutions. But to fill that vacancy, one must be willing to engage in a deep and sometimes uncomfortable self-examination. The journey of a leader is not just about moving others, it is about the internal movement toward clarity and purpose. The first step in this transformative process is to peel back the layers of daily activity and look directly at the heart of the matter. Why does one accept the mantle of responsibility? What is the spark that ignites the will to lead? This inquiry sets the stage for a deeper exploration of human motivation and the complex reasons that compel an individual to step forward into the light of responsibility. The weight of leadership often arrives not as a choice, but as a circumstance. In a busy office in England or a small school in a home region, There are those who have spent their entire lives dreaming of the day they would finally be in charge, envisioning the power and the prestige that come with the role. Yet there are others who find themselves thrust into the spotlight, forced by the tide of events to take the lead, even if it is the very last thing they ever desired. This dichotomy between the willing and the reluctant is the starting point for understanding the true nature of authority. Every person who has ever accepted a leadership role has done so for a reason, or, more likely, a complex tapestry of reasons woven from both internal desires and external pressures. Consider the internal motivations, those quiet voices that speak from within the soul. For some, there is a natural affinity for control, a deep-seated discomfort with passivity. They find it difficult to stand by and watch as events unfold without their influence. For them, the act of doing nothing is a form of suffering. There is also the drive born of dissatisfaction with the leadership of others. They might look at those in charge and feel a sharp conviction that things could be done better, more efficiently, or more compassionately. For these individuals, stepping up is an act of necessity, a way to escape the frustration of being led by those they do not respect. Then there are those driven by the pure joy of helping others, those who see leadership as a platform to effect positive change and find deep fulfillment in the growth and success of their peers. On the other side of the coin are the external factors, the winds that push a person into a role they might not have sought on their own. In many cases, leadership is accepted simply because there was no one else to do the job. A project was failing, a team was leaderless, and someone had to step into the void. In other instances, the pressure comes from above. Superiors might recognize a potential that the individual has not yet seen in themselves, imploring them to take on a management position or a promotion. There is also the weight of social and professional expectations. In some cases, a person might be encouraged to lead as part of a broader movement for diversity, or they might feel a sense of obligation because of their seniority or their role within a specific social structure. Peer pressure, too, plays a significant role in the American continent and beyond. When a group looks to one individual with expectation, the fear of letting them down can be a powerful motivator. Some people accept leadership roles not because they want the responsibility, but because they are afraid to say no. They fear the consequences of refusing a promotion or the social stigma of appearing uncommitted. This internal conflict, the desire to stay in the shadows versus the pressure to step into the light, creates a tension that defines the early days of many leadership journeys. It is a struggle between the self and the expectations of the world, a delicate balance that must be navigated with care. To be a truly successful leader, one must have the courage to look at these motivations with unblinking eyes. It is possible that the reasons for taking a position are not entirely noble or even desirable. Perhaps the role was accepted purely for a higher salary or out of a desperate need to feel important. Understanding these truths is not a cause for shame, but a prerequisite for growth. By identifying whether the primary impulses are coming from within or are being imposed from the outside, a person can begin to shape their leadership style with intentionality. They can decide whether they are leading for the right reasons, and if not, how they can align their actions with a more meaningful purpose. This realization is the catalyst for a transformation that turns a mere manager into a visionary, but it requires a level of honesty that many find difficult to maintain.
The internal landscape of a leader is often a battleground between natural instincts and the demands of the environment. For those who are naturally inclined toward leadership, the urge to take charge can be almost obsessive. This intrinsic drive is a blend of personality, ego, and an innate need to be the architect of their own surroundings. Such individuals are often highly ambitious, always ready to raise their hand when an opportunity presents itself. While this enthusiasm is a valuable asset, it carries with it a hidden danger. The impulsive need to lead can drive a person to take on responsibilities before they are truly ready, or before they had the necessary experience to navigate the complexities of the role. In their haste to reach the top, they may overlook the vital lessons found in the journey, risking a public failure simply because they lack the patience to wait for the right moment. This obsession with being at the helm can sometimes blind a leader to the needs of the collective. When the ego is the primary driver, the focus shifts from the success of the mission to the validation of the individual. In the home region and in large metropolitan centers across the globe, one can find examples of leaders who were so enamored with their own status that they failed to see the cracks forming in their organizations. Their ambition, while powerful, becomes a double-edged sword that can cut through obstacles, but also sever the bonds of trust with those they lead. For these individuals, the challenge is to temper their drive with humility, to learn that being a leader is not about being the loudest voice in the room, but about creating a space where other voices can flourish. Conversely, there are those who face the opposite struggle, a deep-seated reluctance to lead. These individuals may possess all the necessary skills and insights, yet they have no desire to stand out or to bear the burden of decision-making. There is nothing inherently wrong with being a follower. Every successful team needs those who can execute a vision with excellence. However, this reluctance becomes a significant obstacle when circumstances or professional growth force them into a leadership position. Being thrown into the deep end of the pool without knowing how to swim is a recipe for disaster. The reluctant leader often suffers from a lack of confidence or a fear of the scrutiny that comes with authority, leading to hesitation and a lack of assertiveness that can paralyze a team. For the reluctant leader, the path forward involves a conscious decision to overcome their fears. They must take the initiative to educate themselves in areas where they feel uncomfortable and intentionally practice being more assertive. It is about realizing that leadership is a skill that can be developed, even if it does not come naturally. By facing their concerns head-on, they can transform their reluctance into a thoughtful and measured form of authority. In Europe and Latin America alike, some of the most respected leaders are those who never sought power, but stepped up when they realized that their contribution was vital. Their leadership is often characterized by a sense of duty and a focus on the common good rather than personal gain. In both cases, whether one is overly eager or overly hesitant, the key is the adjustment of one's natural instincts. It is a process of fine-tuning the internal compass to ensure that the drive to lead is balanced by competence and self-awareness. A leader who understands their own tendencies can anticipate their pitfalls and work to mitigate them. They can learn to step back when their ego is taking over, or to step forward when their team needs a decisive hand. This level of self-mastery is what separates those who simply hold a title from those who truly inspire and lead. It is a continuous work in progress, a commitment to personal growth that never truly ends, and it serves as the foundation for everything that follows in the narrative of a successful career.
There comes a moment in every leader's journey when the abstract concepts of motivation and responsibility collide with reality. This is the turning point, the climax of the internal struggle where one must face the true weight of their choices. Imagine a high-stakes scenario in a corporate headquarters in North America or a critical project in a developing region of Africa. The pressure is mounting, the stakes are visible to all, and every eye is turned toward the one in charge. In this moment of intensity, the leader's true why is exposed. If their motivation was merely a desire for control or a fear of saying no, the fragility of their position becomes painfully clear. The realization hits that leadership is not just a role to be played, but a profound commitment that affects the lives and well-being of others. This turning point often arrives as a moment of profound clarity, or in some cases, a crushing revelation. A leader might realize that they have been following a path set by others, driven by external pressures that have nothing to do with their own values. They might see that their ambition has led them into a position they were not prepared for, leaving them exposed and overwhelmed. This is the collapse of the old self-image, a necessary breakdown that paves the way for a more authentic way of leading. It is a moment of truth where the individual must decide, will they continue to lead out of obligation and ego, or will they find a deeper, more sustainable reason to guide others? This internal confrontation is the most dramatic part of the story, as it redefines the entire trajectory of their future. In this crucible of experience, the distinction between being a leader by title and being a leader by conviction is forged. The person who understands their motivations can stand firm, even when the winds of change are howling. They recognize that their power does not come from their position, but from the alignment of their actions with their inner purpose.
For those who are pushed into leadership, this is the moment they choose to own the role, to turn an external obligation into an internal mission. For those who are too eager, this is the moment they learn the value of restraint and the importance of serving the collective rather than the self. It is a transformation that changes the very air in the room, shifting the energy from anxiety to focused intent. This revelation also brings a new understanding of the power of no. Successful leaders, even the most legendary ones, recognize that they cannot and should not accept every responsibility that comes their way. They learn to counter the pressure from peers and superiors, making conscious decisions about when they are ready and when the responsibility is truly theirs to take. This assertiveness is not an act of defiance, but an act of integrity. By refusing roles that do not align with their strengths or their current capacity, they protect both themselves and the organizations they serve. In the American continent and throughout Europe, the most effective figures are often those who know their limits as well as their strengths, and who have the courage to wait for the right opportunity. As the intensity of the climax fades, it leaves behind a sense of clarity and renewed purpose. The leader is no longer just a person reacting to circumstances. They have become an intentional actor in their own story. The consequences of this shift are immediate and profound. The team feels a new sense of stability, the goals become clearer, and the atmosphere changes from one of tension to one of collaboration. The aftermath of the revelation is not a return to the status quo, but the beginning of a new chapter where leadership is exercised with wisdom and self-awareness. This turning point is the heart of the journey, the moment when the potential for greatness is finally unlocked through the simple yet difficult act of self-understanding.
The aftermath of a major revelation is a period of quiet but significant transformation. Once a leader has confronted their true motivations, the way they navigate the world begins to shift in subtle and profound ways. In the weeks and months following such a turning point, the internal and external landscapes begin to settle into a new configuration. There is a sense of calm that comes from no longer fighting against one's own nature or trying to live up to the mismatched expectations of others. In the home region and across the vast expanses of the global marketplace, this transformation manifests as a newfound consistency in decision-making and a more authentic connection with those who follow. One of the most visible changes is the leader's ability to manage their own impulses. Those who once felt an obsessive need to be in control now find that they can delegate with confidence, trusting in the abilities of their team. They realize that their value is not in doing everything themselves, but in creating the conditions for others to succeed. This shift from doer to enabler is a hallmark of mature leadership. It allows the leader to focus on the bigger picture, providing the vision and support that the group needs, rather than getting lost in the minutiae of daily tasks. The result is a more resilient and empowered organization, where leadership is distributed and everyone feels a sense of ownership over the collective goal. For the previously reluctant leader, the resolution brings a different kind of growth. Having accepted the mantle of responsibility with intentionality, they begin to develop a voice that is both firm and empathetic. Their initial fears are replaced by a growing competence, as they realize that the skills of leadership are not mystical gifts, but practical habits that can be mastered. They find that their natural caution, once a hindrance, can be a great asset when used to make thoughtful and well-reasoned decisions. They no longer see themselves as accidental leaders, but as purposeful guides who have a unique contribution to make. This internal transformation is mirrored in the way they are perceived by others, earning them a deep and lasting respect that is not based on fear but on trust. As the narrative moves towards its conclusion, the central lesson of the chapter becomes clear. Leadership is as much about self-management as it is about managing others. The insights gained from understanding one's motivations act as a shield against the pressures of the external world. When a leader is grounded in their own why, they are less likely to be swayed by the passing whims of public opinion or the temporary stresses of a crisis. They develop a long-term perspective that allows them to navigate challenges with grace and to stay focused on their ultimate objectives. This stability is infectious, providing a sense of security to the entire group and fostering a culture of excellence and integrity. This period of resolution is also a time for reflection on the impact one has on others. A leader who knows themselves is better equipped to mentor and develop the next generation of leaders. They can recognize the same struggles in their peers and subordinates and offer the guidance and support that they themselves once needed.
This ripple effect is perhaps the most significant outcome of the leadership journey. It is not just about the individual's success, but about the growth and development of everyone they touch. The quiet aftermath of the turning point is where the true work of leadership begins, as the lessons learned in the heat of the moment are integrated into the fabric of daily life, creating a legacy of wisdom and purpose that will endure long after the leader has moved on to other challenges.
In the final analysis, the journey into the heart of leadership is a journey into the heart of the self. The exploration of motivation is not a one-time exercise, but a continuous process of refinement that defines the quality of one's influence on the world. As the story draws to a close, the image of the leader is transformed from someone who simply commands into someone who deeply understands. Whether in the American continent, Europe, or a quiet home region, the essence of success remains the same. It is the alignment of internal drive with external action. Those who lead with this level of clarity are the ones who truly make a difference, leaving behind a world that is a little better, a little more organized, and a lot more inspired than they found it. The broader meaning of this exploration is that leadership is accessible to anyone who is willing to do the work of self-reflection. It is not a gift reserved for a chosen few, but a potential that resides within every individual. By understanding the reasons why we step forward or why we hold back, we gain the power to choose our path with intention. We can move beyond being victims of circumstance or slaves to our own egos, becoming instead the conscious authors of our own leadership narrative. This realization is both empowering and demanding, as it places the responsibility for our success and our failures squarely in our own hands. A successful leader is someone who has the courage to be honest with themselves, even when the truth is uncomfortable. They are someone who values the why as much as the what, and who understands that the foundation of all effective guidance is self-awareness. This journey of discovery leads to a form of leadership that is not only effective, but also deeply fulfilling. It is a way of being in the world that brings out the best in oneself and in others, creating a positive cycle of growth and achievement. The ultimate takeaway is that the most important thing a leader can do is to never stop learning about themselves and the impact they have on those around them. The broader meaning of this exploration is that leadership is accessible to anyone who is willing to do the work of self-reflection. It is not a gift reserved for a chosen few, but a potential that resides within every individual. By understanding the reasons why we step forward or why we hold back, we gain the power to choose our path with intention. We can move beyond being victims of circumstance or slaves to our own egos, becoming instead the conscious authors of our own leadership narrative. This realization is both empowering and demanding, as it places the responsibility for our success and our failures squarely in our own hands. A successful leader is someone who has the courage to be honest with themselves, even when the truth is uncomfortable. They are someone who values the why as much as the what, and who understands that the foundation of all effective guidance is self-awareness. This journey of discovery leads to a form of leadership that is not only effective, but also deeply fulfilling. It is a way of being in the world that brings out the best in oneself and in others, creating a positive cycle of growth and achievement. The ultimate takeaway is that the most important thing a leader can do is to never stop learning about themselves and the impact they have on those around them. As the final notes of this narrative settle, one is left with a sense of clarity and a renewed commitment to personal development. The world continues its relentless pace, with new challenges and opportunities appearing every day in every corner of the globe. But for the leader who has taken the time to understand their own heart, these challenges are no longer daunting obstacles, but invitations to grow. They are ready to lead with purpose, to inspire with authenticity, and to leave a lasting impact on their communities and organizations. The journey of 100 steps begins with the single profound step of knowing one's own motivations. Ultimately, the story of leadership is a human story, filled with all the complexity, struggle, and triumph that define the human experience. It is a story of choosing to step up, choosing to learn, and choosing to be a force for good. By embracing the lessons of self-reflection and intentionality,
Anyone can become the kind of leader that others admire and want to follow. It is a path of constant evolution, a commitment to becoming the best version of oneself for the sake of the collective. In the end, the most enduring legacy a leader can leave is not a record of profits or a list of accomplishments, but the example of a life lived with purpose, integrity, and a deep understanding of the human heart.